here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for plugging in this show for today and also catching the show on Tuesday. And if you missed it, make sure you go get the replay with Bobby G, right? Those business owners looking to move from corporate America as a married couple with kids into their own entrepreneurship, that lifetime dream that you're chasing, you want to do that, you got to go back and check out that episode, man. I mean, we talked a lot about the different things he went through and had 150 people working for him. He just went from 0 to 150 people. So go check that episode out, right? All right. And so welcome to another session of Conversations with Geoff. I want to thank all the folks that have been following us, and for all you new folks that are going to join the community, we welcome you with open arms, right? This is the place where you can come in, hit the reset button, and find some calm in your life, right? That's what this whole thing is about. And we want to focus on Conversations with Geoff on 3 key areas, community, health, and wealth. And I was talking to our guest that's coming up today, man, and this lady is fire, boy. We could have just went to our conversation to the show. So make sure when she comes on that you are sharing this, you have subscribed, you're letting your friends know, and you are sitting in there, you have pen and paper, you want to take some notes, because this woman is a phenomenal, humble, successful servant. And you want to make sure you catch that message, right? All right, so that's a couple different things. And then want to just do housekeeping as folks kind of get to where we're going here. And that is, I already thanked all the folks that are doing it. Thank my team for making this stuff happen, right? We keep pushing forward, and times are tough, and we still show up, and they still show up, do an amazing job to make this thing happen. And some folks have been reaching out to us about affiliate programs and sponsorship. So if that's you and you want to get involved in that space, just reach out and let me know how we can maybe come together and do some things like that. I mean, I think that's, attention and collaboration are the new currencies, right? So let's make sure we pay attention to those things. And lastly, in terms of speaking, my name is Geoff Tyson, and I'm known as the comeback king, right? And so my message in terms of helping corporations and employees come together at the table and begin that comeback journey, right? We had COVID come in, we had other things happen in the world, and people aren't certain about where they fit on their jobs, and employees or employers aren't really sure on how to communicate with them, how to make it happen, right? So if that's you and you're looking for somebody that, hey, I'll share my 40 plus years in business and 20 something of it in corporate America and at a higher level, managing lots of people and lots of situations with all kinds of things going on externally, and bringing them together and making things happen for those corporations. And as an entrepreneur, then I'm your guy. So make sure you hit the link and say, hey, Geoff, we need to talk a little bit about what those training and speaking engagements can look like. All right. All right. So listen, hey, my name again is Geoff Tyson, and I'm known as the comeback king. And, everybody knows my story. I won't go into that today. But I was just sharing with our guest coming up. You guys, I've been talking about it. The physical thing about my surgery, and this week was week number 4, and I've got some releasing of my restrictions, so I'm excited about that. And I was just talking to her about just remembering how people showed up for me when I was in the hospital. People showed up for me now after the hospital. And I'm just so grateful to have that. Right? Because that stinking thinking that we talk about here, and that's the whole mission around Conversations with Geoff, is making you aware of that stinking thinking, because I have it too, right? Being aware of it, first of all, man, paying attention, right? And then we have a choice. We have a choice on what we want to do. We either embrace that way and continue to go down that journey of, the same thing, getting the same results, just not getting the things we want out of life, or we step back for a moment. And like I said earlier, the other shows, we have 3 conversations going on. One on this shoulder, one on that shoulder, and one right here. And that's the one between you and you, right? So you either listening to the negative chatter, or you're listening to the chatter over here that says you can do it, you must do it, you will do it. And then you have to talk to self to say, okay, self, let's choose this one, because you got to make a choice, man. It ain't just going to happen. So anyway, I can talk about that forever. There's a whole lot of stuff in that space, but I want to just say this as I move from it, man, that there's no better time than now for everybody that hears this message to begin to pay attention to what you're saying. That stinking thinking that's holding you back in your relationship, in your business, wherever it might be, spiritual, however it is, that we have the ability. The possibility of what I'm saying to you is real. Anybody right now today, and I'm always asking you to take one word that you're saying that's not feeding you, that's not helping you move forward, and take that off that vocabulary and replace it with something else. I always give you a couple of easy ones. How many times through the day do you say, I can't do this, or maybe, or I think so, or I'll get back to you? We all know that's just a bunch of crap, right? So now we replace that with I can. You guys know where I'm going. I will. That's right. And I must take that next step. So you do those things each and every day. And I guarantee you one thing. You practice what we're talking about. You make it a consistent part of your nature. And then see how your world changes. Man. I got to shut up because there's so many things I want to get our guests to talk about. So let me just tell you this, that she was a principal, and man, I just, so much passion for folks in the educational world. I mean, y'all just don't. I mean, my daughter's a teacher, and I see it and I hear it. I just like, oh man, my heart goes out. So kudos to those professionals who are either getting ready to start another season in school or already there to serve our children, to serve our communities, to be that voice of reason. Amazing. So that was her. She was a principal that left that industry and went into real estate investing. She's going to talk about all those things. I'd like to just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring to our stage conversations with a powerful young lady, Miss Deba Douglas.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Okay, so I'm gonna need you to be my intro person for anything I ever do. You're gonna be my intro person for sure.
That's the deal. I love to do. It's easy. You make it easy for me, right? I mean, people see that beautiful smile and then get to know you. It's easy when some things are just natural and real. So thank you for coming today. I know it's been a minute to get you here, so thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored.
Yes. We're glad to do that. So let me just ask you this. I just was thinking about this before we get into some stuff, because I was talking about school starting and all that stuff. Did you like have a sigh of relief, or did you have some remorse about not being involved in that anymore? How did that hit you?
No remorse. Definitely a sigh of relief. Like, I understand the struggle of being a teacher, administrator, making sure you get everything ready for the kids to come to school. But I don't miss any of that. I really now I have 3 kids and I'm like, it's time for y'all to go. I've loved y'all. We've had fun this summer, but it is time for you to go to school and enjoy yourself. But I will say, I love my teachers. I love my kids' teachers. I love on them. I make sure that whatever they're wanting my kids to do at school, I'm doing that same alignment at home, because I want to make sure that when I'm sending my kids to school, I'm making their life easier, because it is a tough job. It is a favorless job where you never get appreciated from teachers. So even with, now that I'm in the real estate world, we go above and beyond with my company by donating and always donating to teachers. Every year we'll pay for lunches for every teacher, staff member, custodian, just to say we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for everything you're doing.
That's really, I mean, man, if more people did those simple things in life, just think how much better the world would be, because, the teachers, the school systems, depending on where they are, may not have the funds available. So teachers are reaching in their pockets to provide things for the students because they can't get it from home. I mean, so all that stuff, man, that's got to be really just, man, I felt that when you were sharing that, right? So you left there and you went from somewhat of limited income world of education to real estate.
Yes.
And killing it. I'm just going to say she's killing it, y'all, in real estate. All right. She may not say that, but I'm going to tell y'all, if you're looking to hear some words of wisdom from someone that hasn't been in the industry all that long, too, by the way, it's killing it. So tell us about that journey. You left school and.
Yes. So I went to college to be a teacher. So I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I spent 16 years in education. Some of that I was a teacher, I was a coach, I was a bus driver. And at the end of my stint, I was an administrator. I thought by moving up in the chain, grabbing titles was going to give me enough, sufficiency of like feeling like I've established myself with titles. I got caught up chasing titles. And then I realized I don't want this job. I don't feel like I'm in my purpose. I wasn't happy. I would spend 20, 30 minutes trying to get myself motivated to get into the building. And I would just sit in my car and cry. And then I would leave work during my lunch break. And I remember calling my husband crying, like, I hate my job. Like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm really big in my church. Like, we serve a lot, we do a lot. And I just kept thinking, like, if God wants you to have abundance, he wants you to have abundance everywhere, not just in one aspect of your life. And I'm married. I have a wonderful husband, super supportive. My kids were great, but my job was like, it was sucking everything out of me. And I didn't want to be creative. I didn't want to do anything. So I just started seeking God. And I said, you know what, God, if this is what you want me to do, I'm going to do it wholeheartedly. But I'm going to trust you even though I don't understand. And I remember having like a little post-it on my camera, on my monitor at work. And I literally would look at that every time I was frustrated. Every time I would be like, why am I here? I would just look at that and say, I trust you, God, regardless of if I understand. And then towards the instant of me being an administrator, I just randomly picked up a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I'm like, this is what I've been thinking. I just didn't know how to articulate it. And I immediately started telling my husband, like, we just need to cut all this extra fat out. Like, let's stop going out to eat. Let's stop going on these trips. Let's save some money so that we can give our kids something. And at that time we had 2 boys. And I was like, I can't pass them down my job because they got to go through the same interview process. But if I create assets and have rental properties, I can pass that down and they will forever build their wealth. And I'll be able to pass the baton of life and pass the baton of wealth and abundance, because I don't want my kids feeling like I need to hurry up and graduate from college because I got to get a job because I got bills, I got student loans. I want them to really go out and find their passion early, because when you find your passion early, that's going to be the obedience to help somebody else. Like, our for other people, it's not for us. And I did that, and I became a realtor because in my mind, I'm thinking, if I become a realtor first, I can learn the business, learn what I need to know, and I can grow from there. And 4.5 years later, I now have a huge rental portfolio. I have a real estate team of agents that work with me. I now created a course to help people get into flipping, get into rental properties, house hacking, wholesaling, and all within 4.5 years. And half the time I didn't even know what I was doing, but I just knew, let's just keep going. This is what God called me to do. And he will open up the plans every day. I tell you, I wake up and be like, I don't know what I got going on, but I know we're going to get through it. And we do. And it just happens.
Oh man. And it's so enriching to hear you share that, because that's the difference, right? Because if you wait to know everything in any industry you're in, you are never going to take a step.
You're never going to do it.
Never, like that song said, never go take a step, right? Yeah. And in real estate, in our business, I don't care who you are, you're not going to know a lot of stuff.
No.
And retain, you'll learn a lot, but then you're retaining it. So when you went from that to 4 years talking about this, man, and you said something, I wrote it down, trust you even though you don't understand.
Yeah.
Wow, because there's some decisions in that part, in the real estate business, that you have to make.
Yeah.
Right? That you may not have all the answers. What do you tell people that are, I got to have this? And, I always tell folks in real estate, listen, you better get comfortable making decisions with maybe just a little bit of information, maybe not any information.
Yes. And I think God was planting those seeds in me when I was at the principal job, even though I didn't like it. And he was planting those seeds of like, just do it anyways. Like, just do it. You may not understand. Because even today, like, we're in the process of building a house that I'm going to set it up as a rental property. I don't even know the first step. Like, I know, hey, let's get the plans. I did the plans. Check. Now you submit those plans to the city.
Yeah.
Check. But I'm calling the city like, hey, did I submit that correctly? Can you check to make sure? I'm going through those steps. And when I do talk to people that are telling me they want to do it and they have all these prerequisites, I just tell them you're not going to be successful. If
Yeah.
if you are a control freak and you feel like you have to have all the ducks in row and you got to know exactly what step to do this, real estate is going to freak you out. It's going to stress you out. And my only thing is I tell people we go through it and we do it together. If we don't know it, we're going to find somebody that knows it a little bit better than us and they're going to guide us. One thing I have noticed with real estate that's different than when I was in education, real estate is a lot of collaboration.
Yes.
In education, especially trying to move up in that chain of the titles, there is no collaboration. It is very competitive because you have one position and there's like 500 people trying to get that same position. So no one is sharing the sauce to get you to that position. But in real estate, there's so much houses and there's so much life of abundance that you just talk to somebody. Oh yeah, I remember going through that. You go to this, do that, call this person, tell them I sent you, and you'll get it done. And that's what I love about real estate.
Yeah, you know, I wrote down the word humble while you were talking. You know, you have to be humble enough to say, hey, like you just said, oh, that's true. You know what I mean? And being able to do that. So you built this real estate team. So now you are actually a realtor still and investor.
Yes.
Kind of tell people what that difference is a little bit.
Yeah. So ideally, when you think about a realtor, this is someone that you call up and say, hey, I'm looking for a rental property, or hey, I'm thinking about buying a house, or I'm thinking about selling my house. We come in, we help you, we give you the comms, we give you, you know, all of our educated ideas of what you should do best with the house. As a real estate investor, you're more of the visionary of you see a house and you're like, if I fix this house up, it will be worth X, Y, Z. So as an investor, you're putting your money into the sand, into the property, you're rehabbing it, then you're deciding if I'm going to list it and flip it, or you're deciding I'm going to keep it as a rental and put a family in the house. So I think as an investor, you're the visionary to continue to change the community.
Yeah, I like that. And that's true. I mean, it is about seeing something at its finished product.
Yes.
And understanding the impact that it has. And so do you teach your real estate team about investing also? Is that part of what they gain from you being their leader?
Yes. My goal is that anybody that joins my team, you should already have a rental property or you better be looking for one. And that, like, seriously, because we mainly work with investors. Like, we'll do first-time home buyers, we'll do all that. But I need them to understand what it's like to be an owner and not just buying your own house, but owning property, because you walk differently, you talk differently. There's a level of confidence that comes with that I want all of my agents on my team to feel that. So I actually have 2 agents right now that have went through my course, and that in literally this morning, we were talking about them submitting offers for their first flip.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you talked about walking, you have a different step because, you know, if people aren't bringing you as a realtor, this is just my vision. So may I just if people aren't bringing you listings and you're not aggressively seeking listings and you're not selling anything, then you're either chasing it because that's who your nature is, or you're like timidly walking down, wondering where the next meal comes from.
Exactly. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how, if you're just a realtor, I don't know how you making it, because I be stressing. Like, I'm at a place now, thank God, that if I close a deal, that's great. That's just extra. But if I don't, I'm good because I'm making passive income from all my rentals. But if you're just a realtor and you don't know anything about this investment game, you are losing out on thousands and thousands, I'll even say millions of dollars every year. Because if you understand the investing game, you now can work with full-time real estate professionals that are investors, not just your one-time home buyer. Your one-time home buyer is going to call you one day, and then you're not going to see them for 7 to 10 years when they're thinking about selling their house again. But if you work with professional real estate people, they're constantly flipping houses. They're constantly doing something in real estate. I mean, I remember my first year, I worked with mainly only investors. I only needed 3 investors to keep me good. Like they were every quarter, they were closing 2 or 3 deals. That's all I needed to get started. And I learned so much.
Yeah. That's I'm just because because we did business in multiple locations as an investor. Real estate agents and the relationships is how we built our business.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, because the real estate agent like yourself that understood, that, hey, I'm going to make sure that I do what I say as an investor.
Yeah.
And then what I need you to do is, fill in these other voids that I don't want to learn how to do, or
exactly
where your expertise is, right? And you said it, so think about 10 years, you sold 1 house a year as an agent. Now do the same thing and do the math. With the story you just described, you had 3 investors. So if each one of those investors brought you 3 deals, I don't know if they did or not, but listen to this story. That's 9 deals a year times 10. I'm not a genius, but that's like 90 to 1 or 90. So just, man, I'm so glad you're sharing this so candidly, because I think it's just, there's so many agents out there that if they just took a step in that direction, their life would change.
Their life will change. Their life would change, and you wouldn't always feel like I'm chasing the deal, or I'm like, let me just bend it a little bit to make it make sense. Because I'll tell my clients in a minute, especially first-time home buyers, I'm probably going to tell you not to buy a house. I don't need your money. Like, I'm going to be like, let's be for real. Let's make it. And I'll ask a lot of real deep questions. Like, I'll ask you, how much are you paying right now for rent? If you're paying $1,200 for rent right now and you want to buy a house, I'm going to tell you, we're not going to find anything that's close to that price point. We're not. Are you okay paying a new mortgage for close to $2,000?
Yeah.
And if you're not, then, hey, we just need to figure out something else for you.
That's
and
right.
I'm going to be very candid of, okay, the areas that you're looking at, let's be honest about it. Like, hey, this area needs foundation. There's stuff that's going to go on with this house. Do you have additional funds to cover this before we get into this house? Because maybe the seller's not going to fix everything. Do you have additional funds? Most realtors, because they're chasing a check, they're going to be like, I don't care. Let's just make an offer. If you like it, I like it. Let's go. And I'm going to be like, no, because I want you to be happy. And I want you to know that you have someone that I'm not chasing the commission, because if you buy something this month or you buy something 6 months from now, I'm going to be okay. I need you to be good, because I eventually want you to come back and I want to help you get a rental property, because knowledge is power. And those days of keeping that information in for only yourself, that helps nobody. The trajectory of our community, we need help, we need knowledge, and we need it quick. And at the rate that we're going with how affordable living in Texas, that's going to be obsolete pretty soon.
Ooh, boy, yeah. I mean, especially in Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, and I don't know what else, falls off after that. But you're saying something. And you said something earlier. I'm going to go back to the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Just one of many powerful, I like to call life books that you go to and you read and journey and you live that. So as we kind of, get to, I want to make sure I ask this question. This just popped into, because most investors, they are looking to flip houses. They're looking to get in, and then unfortunately a lot of them get beat up so badly that they run away and never come back.
Very true.
But you picked passive income, and it's a game changer.
Yeah.
It just is, and as an investor, I was the guy that bought all the nasty houses and fixed them, and before King of Comeback, I was the king of rehabs, right? And so I understand that, but I love the fact that you're teaching people the power of passive income. So as we kind of get to the end, talk about why, for you, passive income, because
I sum it up real quick. I want to be wealthy. I don't want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. I want to be able to know that at any moment, the first of the month, I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
And the only way you can do that is by putting something into the ground and letting it grow. And I just pick bricks. And that's just if you flip, you're going to make some money. You're going to be rich. But as soon as that money runs out, you back to the grind working again. But if I buy rentals, I'm going to be wealthy because that house is going to appreciate. My tenants are going to pay down the mortgage. I'm going to continue to make passive income. Yeah, every now and then I have a maintenance issue. That's just part of the business. Yeah. But I want to be wealthy.
Yeah. And wealthy mentality is being able, as you said, to live off of the results of what your money, I call it the money gym, right? Your money is lifting weights for you. It's making all happen. And rentals or passive income is so much a way to do that. So, we're almost out of time already here.
You have to have me back. I got to come back.
I'd love to have you back, and then maybe even talk about some things. But before we, I want to make sure that you mentioned the training that you do for folks and how people get a hold of you. Why don't you just take a couple minutes and talk about that before we get out of here?
Yeah, so I have a course that I teach you how to house hack, flip houses, do your rental properties. And it's a very comprehensive, extensive course. If you don't have to know anything about real estate, but once you take this course, you're going to know everything you need to know and some. And not only will you gain the information, we're going to put steps in place to help you execute as well. My team is here to help you, and you can find information in detail about the course by going to my website, www.douglasdwellings.com. And you can see it right above me, douglasdwellings.com. You can find all the information you need about the course, get in contact with me. I would love to chat or talk to you. You are going to talk to me because I am very passionate about changing the trajectory for so many people by just understanding how they create their own money.
Yeah, I like that. And what I hear in there too is that, you go, because real estate, so much stuff everywhere. Yeah. Do this, come get 3 days, 7 days, 30 days, whatever. Yeah. But I hear, and people need to understand me when I'm saying this, that you're going to make it so that they are using it, understanding it, and taking action and making money.
Yeah. Yes, I've helped so many of my mentees. I think we're at close to 50 mentees. And out of the 50, now we know people may not be quite ready, but out of the 50, we have about 40 people that have already bought a property. They may be on their second, third, fourth property. I have one client, they started taking my course in January and they're already on property number 7. So It works. I give you the lenders. If you're in close to my Metroplex, in Texas, we help you with finding contractors. We help you do everything. There's no excuse. When you go through my course, you better execute. That's the goal.
Well, when you talk about 40 people out of 50, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
I'm in the space. I know. It might be what, 5%.
Yeah. No, we are focused on execution. When people get to know me, they know, hey, Deba's an executor. Don't be talking if you ain't about it. Because I'm gonna hold you to it. I'm gonna hold you to it.
Man, so as a principal, you probably didn't play around either, did you?
I did not. The kids knew, hey, what principal are you sending me to? If you sending me to Ms. Douglas, let me straighten up because she gonna come with the fire.
Oh, Deba, so listen, man, we will have you back on the show, and really specifically around some things around real estate, and then maybe how you put that trust in God and all that. So how can you leave us? How do you want to leave us today? What word or words do you want to just drop as we wrap this thing up for folks out there that are frustrated, scared, tired of making excuses, all those things that get in the way? How can we help nudge them as we wrap?
My biggest thing I want to leave with you is you may be looking at me and saying, oh my gosh, she has this all figured out together. I'm just like you. I deal with my own struggles. I deal with my own fears. I deal with my own psychologically warfare. But I want you to know one thing that I do is I trust God. And I thank him for where he's brought me to, and I thank him for where he's taken me to. And if you just really spend some time building that relationship with God, and it's not something like it's all spiritual, it's just saying, hey, I surrender and I just give you my life and I give you everything. And if you really trust him and you really listen to him, take a step back and let him be the big God that he's supposed to be in your life. And I guarantee you, just give him 3 months and he will show you what he is capable of doing.
Wow. Yeah. You know, and even those of you that say, hey, I'm not into that space, can take something from that. Find something greater than you that you can surrender all that stuff to and step into what you're supposed to do. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's proven to be evident in my life as well. So I appreciate your candidness today. Man, it's been a blast.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been such a blessing. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. I can't wait to have you again. And just do me a favor, continue to be great. Continue to serve at the highest level and continue to remind people that there ain't going to be no excuses on your watch. It's about execution. I love it. Take care, my friend.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right. So, hey, listen, I told you, I tried to warn you of what was happening. I tried to let you know about someone that was going to keep it to you and keep it raw, man. So I really want to thank our guest, Deba Douglas, real estate investor, passive income master, teaching folks how to do the same thing. You heard it, right? 50 students, 40 of them are already into buying the property. That's tremendous results. And I only tell you, if you're really thinking about real estate and all these things, as an instructor and coach myself, I know what it's like. And I'll tell you this, she's for real. So anyhow, go back and check the message out again. She shared some really dynamite things along the way. And subscribe to this channel. Share this information to as many folks as you can. Set it up, the notification bell in there so you can make sure you don't miss the next episode. And I really encourage you to rewatch this stuff because there's so much in there about real estate, but also something about the power of faith that we all could take something from, right? So I put something in the chat. And I want to bring it up here and I share. You know, it's your mind. Here's a challenge I leave for you. A couple of them. Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. Will you grow flowers or will you grow seeds? Not seeds, weeds. That's wrong. Will you grow weeds? So I ask you that question. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier and what whole foundation of conversations with Geoff is this thinking. We have a choice we can make. You have a choice to grow flowers or a choice to grow weeds. Right? And I'm going to tell you something. The weeds, just like any other weed in the grass, is going to grow no matter what you do. It's going to grow. So do something different. Stop this thinking. Right? And I have something else in here, and I'm going to let you guys go. And this is something I heard just the other day. Have faith in taking the first step. Even if you can't see the rest of the staircase. Woo! Man, Martin Luther King, baby. Have faith in taking the first step. Right? Yeah, I'm the one that jumped off. I jump off the bridge and I build my parachute as I get to the bottom. But if that's the one, if you need something, take the first step. And your first step today with Conversations with Geoff is simple. Stop this thinking. No longer I can't, but I will. No longer maybe I must. No longer I think so, I know, and I must do. So keep coming back. Let's have another session next week. Go back and check out Bob's this week. Listen to this one again. We appreciate all your support. Subscribe, share, and get ready for the next episode. Take care. Man, what a day. Woo! We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.